So I had this really cool idea for a video I was going to do, just looking at this recent manga speculation market, which has just gone nuts. And I thought, what if I looked at like the top five comic book sales on eBay? Just went highest sales value, of course, for the last 90 days, because that's what eBay does. And then the top five manga sales. And I looked at them, then I added the amounts and, which one would come ahead. Now, of course, to be fair to comics, the big value comics go on either one private sales or heritage auctions, more than likely. That's where you get like your multi-million dollar sales. Although I was surprised this morning when I woke up and I saw my video feeds that Jeremy Padawer, he's an entrepreneur of California, big collectibles guy. He just bought, 3 books of manga for $275,000. I bet you can guess what one of them is. It's that One Piece Volume 1, 9.8. I tried to zoom in on the dust jacket. It's either 9.4 or 9.6, hard to tell from that particular picture. But yeah, so you got the One Piece 9.8, the Naruto 9.8 with the OB. Fantastic. And Dragon Ball 9.4. Again, that Dragon Ball, because it's so old, in a 9.8, that thing's going to be like a mythical unicorn. That's the one thing I think, like if there was ever a Dragon Ball 1 in the 9.8 that came up for auction, that actually has a chance to beat One Piece as the King of the Hill, just because it's older, and to find it in that condition would be far more rare. Anyway, let's get on with this experiment, shall we? And then we'll talk a little about, the whole manga speculation. Let's go over the sales. I'm going to do comics first. So at number 1 was that Amazing Spider-Man 129 in a CGC 9.8. This is the first appearance of the Punisher. This is going to be a grail for many people. Basically, this one went for $17,000 as per 130 point. Number 2, here's an oldie but a goodie. This is the Captain America annual, probably one of their very first annuals. CGC 0.5, it's missing the back cover. Incredibly rare. Published 1944. It went for $12,400. Number 3, this one was kind of interesting. This was a Star Wars number 1, CGC 9.4. It's basically signed and verified by CGC to be signed by the main cast of Star Wars, which I thought was pretty cool. Anyway, as per 130 point, this one sold for $17,022, which is kind of odd, but $17,022 as per February 15th, so very recent. And finally, rounding out the top 5, very well-known book, Hulk number 1, CGC 2.5, $14,500. Again, this one sold on March 2nd, so very recent. If I add up all those 5 books for their values, so the top 5 individual comic sales last 90 days on eBay, I get $60,922. So how did manga do? Well, let's find out. Coming in at number 1, I've already showcased this book previously, sold on February 11th. It's One Piece number 1, first in print, of course. BGS 9.6, Dust Jacket 9.2, was listed for about 50 grand. Actually sold for $39,000 as per 130 point on February 11th. Number 2, here's something different. Dragon Ball number 1, 9.4, sold on December 13th for a straight $20,000 US. Not bad. Number 3, and you better get used to this one. One Piece 9.6, of course, Volume 1, first print. Dust Jacket was a 9.0, sold for $20,000 on February 9th. Number 4, One Piece BGS 9.4, Dust Jacket this time is only an 8.0. This one, according to 130 Point, went for $15,000 on February 18th. And finally, rounding off the list at number 5 for Manga, One Piece. BGS 9.6, Dust Jacket 9.4, went for $18,000 on January 9th. What's really cool about the number 5 and number 1 book is they're basically the same book. Actually, number 5 is probably a little more desirable than number 1. So what's the main difference? Number 5 sold on January 9th. And then over the span of like 1 month, from January 9th to February 11th, like you can see, it does, yeah, it actually doubled in price. The One Piece Volume 1 in a high grade BGS 9.6. So that's pretty amazing. So what's the total value of all this manga, you ask? Why, it's $112,000 for 5 tankobons. So that's pretty insane. Compared to the $60,000 900 for the comics, yeah, you can see like, well, especially One Piece. One Piece is just destroying collectible values right now. It just amazes me because I think about like 2 years ago, what you could have picked up high grade One Piece Volume 1 first printing for. I mean, yeah, it still would have been, I don't know, $1,000 or $800 or $600, but compared to what it's going for now, like that would have been an amazing investment. Now, is it too late to speculate on One Piece? One Piece Volume 1 first printing, I'm going to say yes. I think the Going Merry has left Speculation Harbor and is out to sea at this point, so you're a little late to jump on. I had some great comments by on one of my videos from Troy Evans 6839. Basically, like, where do you go from here? Like, if you're truly convinced that the market for manga collectibles, Japanese language, basically first printings, is just in the early stages, like, what do you speculate on first? Like, as I said, I really believe One Piece, it's be interesting to see if you can catch that that boat. It's about a $50,000 commute to catch up with Luffy and his crew right about now. So you know, it's out of the market for most of us for collectibles. But looking at just pure sales volumes, like Demon Slayer that has massive print volumes. Will it continue like One Piece has? Will it be so readily accepted by the world, sort of thing? Because right now, I mean, the one I was looking at, if you want to take a gamble, look at, because Demon Slayer's not that, it's only 2016, so you can still find those first printings. It's just a matter of condition at this point. From just a gambling perspective, I might go for it. You got to look at like what's sold in huge quantities, right? Because the bigger the fan base, especially shonen, the more chance you'll have that somebody's going to fork out a lot of cash for a high grade copy of it. Another one I'm kind of interested, just because I'm an older guy, is Tetsuwan Atom is Astro Boy. But it's amazing. Like, I'm looking at books which are like manga hardcover books from about 1957. You can still get really cheaply. I wasn't able to find Volume 1. And again, it comes down to condition. But they're from 1957. Give them a break. So, yeah, interesting. It just blew my mind that, somebody dropped $275,000 on 3 books of manga. I'm not surprised one of them was the One Piece 9.8 first printing Volume 1. Who knows where we go from here, but yeah, interesting times ahead. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.